Well, the season is flying. It's hard to believe that we are already getting the rematches. This is obviously the second time these teams meet after their opening day game. So the start of the second season, of course, began yesterday, the second half of the regular season. Nizhny Novgorod and Era Basketball Nymburk getting big wins in Group C over Peristeri Tenerife and Brosa Bamberg. Now it's this one, as well as Mornar Bar and VEF Riga, which will be taking place a little bit later in Montenegro. Well, the significance of this game you will see as you look at the standings that'll be coming up. Peristeri winmasters with 4 wins and 3 defeats, really right thick in the hunt for one of those top 4 places. They get a win tonight, and they will climb into the top 4. They will leapfrog Brosa Bamberg. Gaziantep, meanwhile, with just 2 wins on the season, but only 2 games out of the top 4. However, every win is priceless, and having suffered heartbreak on at least a few occasions this season, Gaziantep know they need to start getting some wins if they're going to keep those hopes alive of getting into the playoffs. Well, Peristeri started the season at Gaziantep. It wasn't going well and trailing by 16 points, but they came back to win 70-64. This Gaziantep team, Orhan Hajiyeva, Murat Goktas, Batuhan Dikman, Drew Crawford, Sarunas Vatsilaskis, Stefan Yelovac, Errol Janchenko, Jason Rich, Medahan Akyal, and Ivan Bua playing for Nenad Markovic. Big difference, Jason Rich in this team was not on opening night. And for Peristeri winmasters, Scoochie Smith, BJ Blake, Vasilis Xanthopoulos, who won the title a couple years ago with Ike, Yanis Agravanis, Christos Solustros, Yannick Morea, now a newcomer, wasn't in the first game, Konstantinos Gontikas, Panayatas Vasilopoulos, Mike Morrison, William Hatcher, Stephen Gray, and the big difference as well compared to the start. It used to be Ilios Zoros that was at the helm. Now it's Nikolaos Papanikolaopoulos who is the coach for Peristeri. So these two teams, I think Gaziantep probably frustrated, knowing they could very easily, instead of being 2 and 5, they could very easily be much better. 3, 4 wins, even 5 wins. Maybe if things had, they'd gotten a little bit more luck. But the saying goes, you make your own luck, and they just haven't made it enough. They've had some changes. They lost that first one, as I mentioned, at home to Peristeri winmasters back on October 15th, 70-64. You might remember there was an hour, or rather there was a lengthy delay at the start of that game because of a shot clock issue not working. Anyway, they followed up the following week and almost got a win in the Czech Republic, but lost 74-72 at Era Nymburk. And then they returned home and lost 76-66 pretty decisively to Brosa Bamberg. They finally got their first win on November 5th, 85-81 at VEF Riga. And then they very nearly upset Peristeri Tenerife, losing that one 69-67. That was Heartbreak City. They were winning in the final minute, but couldn't hold on. Gaziantep did grind out a win at home over Nizhny Novgorod, 79-76. But last week was quite a deflating loss, falling 84-77 at Mornar Bar. Now, this Peristeri winmasters team, as you're seeing them be introduced here, this is a team that is coming off a good home win last week over Era Nymburk. But before that, they lost a close one at Brosa Bamberg. They did win impressively on November 12th at Mornar Bar, 73-65. However, here in Greece, they lost 74-71 to Nizhny Novgorod on November 5th. So they've been hot and cold. They lost a close one as well at Peristeri Tenerife on October 29th, 72-68. but then they won a close one over Vefrig on October 23rd. So one thing that we know about Peristeri winmasters, it's not like they really blow teams out, but they don't get blown out either. So I think it's fairly certain that we're going to have a good game tonight, a close one here, and it's a pivotal game, again, as both of these teams try to make it into the top 4. Let me remind you, folks, get the Basketball Champions League app if you haven't gotten it into your smartphone. That would be a smart move. You'll get all the latest news information, data, interviews, features. I'll tell you what, you can spend a lot of time looking at that app. There's a lot of really good stuff on there. And also you can go to the championsleague.basketball website to read all the great columns and information that's put out there by those simply magnificent contributors. We'll go over some of the names later. Well, we'll start now. You want to read Igor Cherkovich's power rankings, and you want to read Dick and Lloyd Smith's great pieces, his analytical pieces, also his transfer news. You want to listen to those great coast-to-coast podcasts from David Hine and Austin Green. So make sure you go to the championsleague.basketball website. So Gaziantep have lost their last 2 games against Greek teams, but won on their only trip to Greece in the competition back in the 2017-18 season at PAOK. Here you see Antonio Conde from Spain in the middle, Lorenzo Baldini from Italy on the left, and Erez Gurion from Israel on the right. Also interesting in terms of the defense for this Peristeri team, leading the league in opponents made field goals. They're only allowing an average of 24.3 made shots per game. So Peristeri also averaging a joint high 4.4 blocks per game alongside Hapoel Jerusalem. So they're pretty good defensively. Orhan Hajieva, Drew Crawford, Sarunas Vasilauskas, Jason Rich, and Ivan Bua in that starting 5 for Gaziantep. And I think, as always, you know, if you can establish your big man down low, Ivan Bua, and get him going, that would be a huge factor for this Gaziantep team, because usually when he's playing well, so are Gaziantep. Nenad Markovic, I think, has certainly had to steer this Gaziantep ship through some rough seas, and he's done a good job of keeping them afloat. And now comes the big question: can he get them into that top 4, into the playoff position? Scoochie Smith, Giannis Agravanis, Yannick Morea, the Angola international, Panayotis Vasilopoulos, and Stephen Gray in the starting 5 for Peristeri winmasters. And Yannick Morea was the subject of the Coast to Coast podcast, so you might want to hear his thoughts. But you know him because he's a champion. He won this Basketball Champions League last year when he started with PAOK, but then moved to Virtus Bologna and was a part of that team that won in Antwerp. If you're a fan of college basketball in America, he played for Southern Methodist University for, I think he would qualify as a legend, Larry Brown. So we are just a couple minutes away from the start here, and Peristeri players listening to Nikolaos Papanikolaopoulos before the start. Say Papanikolaopoulos 10 times in a row as fast as you can, and that will be quite an accomplishment. So good starts are imperative, but not the be-all and the end-all. We've seen both of these teams come back, and we mentioned Gaziantep not able to hold off the Peristeri comeback in the opener, but then we've seen Gaziantep come back and win some games, including famously at Vefriga. That game looked to be done and dusted, but it was not the case in the end. They came back and won that one, and I think really fueled hopes that they were going to have a big season. The fact that they played as well as they did the following week at Iberostar Tenerife suggested that things were going to get better, but they anyway, they've got 2 wins. Bua, you know, you look at him, you look at his size, you look at his mentality, and you just think about the possibilities. I mean, a lot of guys, a lot of coaches would like to have a big man like him. He's averaging 18 points per game, 7.3 rebounds. Well, good evening, folks. If you're just joining us, this is the Basketball Champions League coming at you from Athens, Greece. It's Peristeri winmasters hosting Gaziantep. It's the second meeting of these two teams this year. Gaziantep winning the first one by 6 in Turkey. And Gaziantep coming right out and hitting the three-point shot. So good start here for the home team. I think here you go inside to Ivan Bua, and unbelievable that he doesn't make the layup. Wide open, almost uncontested. And he will be upset with himself. And a quick response at the other end. Moreira. Jason Rich pulls up and misses. Ball rims out, and the follow is good from Ivan Bua. Moreira a little bit long. And now the miss. And again, Peristeri winmasters look to attack. Gaziantep lays it up and in. So 5 early points for the Greece international. And a worrying start for Gaziantep here away from home. Richie Smith actually got the other basket. I've misidentified him as Yannick Moreira. Yannick Moreira was hustling down the floor for the possible miss, and now foul down low. Gaziantep, and the ball just fumbled out of Jason Rich's hands. Now the handoff and the two-handed jam from Vasilopoulos, who now has 7 points. And a worrying start is suddenly becoming a very bad start for Gaziantep, especially just coughing the ball up as easily as Rich did. Miss. Vasilopoulos seems to be in fine fettle tonight. Now driving in and missing, but drawing the foul. And the reach brings the foul on Jason Rich. I wonder if Nathan Markovic might need to switch down just for a second and then put him back into the game. He's off to a slow start, and it's really feel like the tone was set for this Gaziantep team when Bua missed the layup right at the beginning. Now into the lane too early, so he'll get another one. Hajieva that got in too quickly. Vasilopoulos played for Greece at the World Cup this summer. He misses the second one. Hajieva puts it up from downtown. The three is good. And I have to say it comes at a very important time for Gaziantep, who are sleepwalking through that first 3.5 minutes. Vasilopoulos again. Boy, he's feeling it right now. Just get him the rock. 10 points for Vasilopoulos. 10 of his team's 12. Bua works his way down low. This time, much tougher shot and makes it. Goes right over Yannick Morea. Gucci Smith gets it over to Stephen Gray. Stephen Gray now out to the perimeter, and Agravanis gets the 3 points right back. Vasilopoulos launches it, goes off the front of the rim, and really only yellow shirts there for the rebound. Gucci Smith was behind his back. Morea. Gray over to Agravanis again. Kind of token defense out on the perimeter. Gaziantep get away with it this time. Bua pump fake. Oh, takes a Euro step, and then Morea this time comes over and swats it out of bounds. Vasilopoulos trying to make the pass, but alertly Morea again doing well on defense, kicking the ball out of bounds. A little bit 14 on the shot clock. 4:42 remaining here in the first quarter. Peristeri trying to take a vice-like grip on proceedings here at the beginning. Drew Crawford back outside. Hajieva again. Wow! Hajieva looking good tonight. It's his second three-pointer. I've always thought he had a little bit more to his game and he could offer a little bit more. Hajieva looks like he might have caught Vasilopoulos, and those two players jawing at each other a little bit. Now what's called on Hajieva. Vasilopoulos has had to fight his way through some injuries. Things were looking really bleak for him for a long time after he had such a great start early in his career. And he's kind of had a renaissance, and much of that taking place in the Basketball Champions League. Now Gray comes over and launches it from deep. Vasilevskis. And again, good, patient interior passing there by Jason Rich. Hands it off to Ivan Bua. This is where Gaziantep have to tighten up a little bit. They've been giving away some open looks. And again, a little bit of lackadaisical defense. And the drive from Scoochie Smith. Well, seems like Gaziantep not really playing at 100% defensively. Need to pick up the intensity just a little bit as Scoochie Smith goes to the line and makes the free throw for the three-point play. Seems like every time down, they're going down and getting 3 points, either from the arc or the old-fashioned way. Vasilopoulos comes out of the game. Hadjiev inbounds it to Vasilevskis, the Lithuanian. Drew Crawford puts it on the deck. Looks like he went off his right foot there instead of his left. An awkward looking layup. Morea. Over to PJ Blake. Now inside to Morea. Turns. Sweet jump hook. Scoring over Ivan Bua. I tell you what, the score does not lie. That Peristeri team with 23 points, making that Gaziantep defense looked like a mockery so far. Here it is again, another turnover. And they share the ball. This time they turn it over. Vasilevskis races to the other end. He gets swatted. But the follow, the putback, and Ivan Bua misses, and then Drew Crawford can't get the ball. Gray. Alley-oop. Nope. And I think Morea, I don't know if he took his eye off the ball, but he didn't catch it. And a break for Gaziantep. Could have very easily been another 2 points. That was Kingsley Moses saying, "Not in my house." See the three-point shooting. 4 threes for Peristeri, 5 of 6 inside the arc. I mean, they're 9 of 11 from the field.
Nobody help. Everybody help like, oh, my man needs shoot if I help. Go help, rotate. Go to close out.
We're looking at the Peristeri winmasters team, but it's the voice of Markovic. We can hear him having a go at his team for their lack of defense.
Help, everybody. Help.
What are you playing offense?
The rebounding numbers.
Let's play defense. 23 points for the season. In 8 minutes. Sit down.
I think it was Jason Rich that said, what are we going to run on offense? And Markovic just said, let's play defense. We've given up already 23 points.
Hey, hold down. Hey.
So worrying start here at the beginning here for Gaziantep. Trailing by 11 points, nearly 8 minutes into the contest. Pass back to Bua, and he scores and has a chance for a three-point play. That's good coming out of the timeout, but let's see how they act at the other end of the floor. Remember, Gaziantep coming off an 84-77 defeat at Mornar Bar. That was the first win of the season in the Basketball Champions League for Mornar Bar. Bua bends his knees and makes the free throw and cuts it back to an 8-point deficit. So some full court pressure here. Traps applied, trying to spark his team into life, Markovic, and forcing Peristeri to take some time off the clock. Now it's Rich getting up close on Gray. Now the jump shot and the basket, same result, scored by Willie Hatcher. William Hatcher, his first basket of the game, coming off the bench. Rich, nice little runner. Great bounce pass over to Maria. And again, pretty easy shot in the lane. Soft touch, 27 points for Peristeri. Markovic not liking his team's effort defensively. Anyway, Vasilevskis drives in and scores with a left hand, banks it in. Yelovat's in the game right now. Guarding Kingsley Moses, number 33. Gray over to Hatcher. And from the corner, scoring it is B.J. Blake. Points to just keep pouring them in. About a 3.5-second differential in the game clock and shot clock. Yelovats out of Blake, Crawford rather. And a foul. So that'll give Gaziantep a chance to get the last shot. Gray's going to go out. Mike Marson comes into the game. Rich going to try to post up Xanthopoulos. Turns on the baseline, rattles it in. Well, at least they had a good finish to the first quarter. Now Rich having a little bit of a go at that defense for Peristeri. Anyway, that basket cuts it to 9 points. 30-21, Peristeri on top at the end of one. 7 of 8 inside the arc, 5 of 6 from deep for Peristeri. 7 of 15 for Gaziantep and 2 of 4 from deep. But really, yes, a good performance offensively from Peristeri, but I mean, they're taking open shots like that one there, the one they started off with from Vasilopoulos, and Scoochie Smith just walked right down the lane. Nobody challenged him, including Bua, who was standing right there. And then Vasilopoulos again. Bua was kind of standing around on defense, and then nobody stopped Vasilopoulos as he drove into the lane. So a lot to be desired on the defensive end from Gaziantep here as they try to get a win in Greece over Peristeri. So far for Peristeri, leading the way, Panayotis Vasilopoulos with 10 points. He's perfect from the floor, 4-4, including 2 of 2 from deep. The only thing he hasn't done is make his free throws. He's 0 for 2. Scoochie Smith has 5 points. And Yannick Maria has 4. Gray, Agravanis, and B.J. Blake each with 3 points. And 2 points for Will Hatcher, who came off the bench. So Rich, who just scored right before the end of the quarter, inbounds the ball to Vasilauskas as Gaziantep start the second frame here with possession. And they make the most of it. Rich puts it up, and that's it. That's 2 for 2. 2 baskets for him in about the space of 23 seconds. And that's a good sign. Get the big shooter involved. Let him see the ball go through the basket. And now an offensive foul. Called from the moving screen there. Called from by the Italian referee on Morrison. So as bad as Gaziantep have been defensively, they're only down 7. Janchenko's checked into the game. Earl Janchenko, number 15. Here's Rich again. Off the Bua, guarded by Morrison. Interesting matchup. Bua gets his way inside. Well, had a good look. Did not make the shot. And Kingsley Moses rebounds. He gets it over to Hatcher, who launches it from deep. And that is a 5-point swing, folks. Just like that, the momentum goes back to the home side. Vasilauskas, his pass intercepted. And then Jinko hustles back and gets it for Gaziantep. Now Rich open. And that time only draws iron, and the foul called on Ivan Bua. Right now on the court for Peristeri is B.J. Blake, Hatcher, Mike Morrison, Kingsley Moses, and Vasilis Xanthopoulos, who has the ball. And Hatcher steps to his left. This is this one. And an offensive foul pushing. Another opportunity here for Gaziantep. Remember, start this game with just 2 wins and 5 defeats. And they lost the first game against Peristeri in the opening week by 6 points. Yelovats. And just completely out of sync on that play. Ball goes out of bounds. Sure, it looked like Markovic and Yelovats exchanged words there as Yelovats came out of the game. Ball into the backcourt. So 32-23 Peristeri on top of Gaziantep. Medahan Akio comes into the game. Offensive foul gives it back to Peristeri, and really it's Gaziantep just can't seem to get out of their own way right now. Very flat start to this contest. First 13 minutes, 12 and a half minutes anyway. Xanthopoulos over to Hatcher. Now Morrison goes to work, overshoots the rim. Good defense by Akel. He saw blood in the water with that matchup and thought he would have his way, but it wasn't the case. And now Vasilis Xanthopoulos called for the foul. Block. Good job by Crawford putting pressure on Xanthopoulos there. Now Crawford again, hangs and flies and gets it over to Akel, but he travels. Six Gaziantep turnovers. And that stat has got to change if they're going to have a chance in this game. Boy, another break is a turnover. Peristeri, Hatcher trying to get it to Morrison. Mike Morrison. Those two were not on the same page. Now Xanthopoulos picks up yet another foul. That's number 2. As he goes out to challenge Jason Rich. Well, we're going to get our first look at Christos Solustros tonight. He's played for Greece as well. Solustros wearing number 15, guarding the inbound pass. Now Rich. He's an opening. Back outside it goes. Hajieva. He has got the hot hand tonight. His 3rd three-pointer. Just get him the rock. Xanthopoulos, his pass intercepted by Rich, who's going to soar in for the two-handed dunk. And all of a sudden, Gaziantep seem to be waking up, trailing by just 4 points and forcing the timeout by Peristeri. Good read by Jason Rich, who now has 8 points, 4 of 8 from the floor. And Hajieva has 9. They are doing most of the damage here for Gaziantep. So Ivan Bua was 9.
We can stay in action because help side doesn't come in and we get huge problem. Still, you sub for Vasilis. Stay. We go down and we play thumb side. Pop out. Pop out. Develop the game with boys, okay. Otherwise, the ball back to Hatch and we play aggressive. Step up, step up. After this, we try to post up with this Turkish guy, Yannick, L. Okay? Line, let's go.
So Gaziantep feasting on the turnovers with 8 points. And again, despite their lethargic start to this game, it took a while, but they have woken up. And perhaps you could say Peristeri's spells of lackadaisical play has helped them. But you got to give some credit to Rich, who's come out, found his stroke, and now he's come out and made a play on defense to go down for an easy one. It's a 4-point game. Hatcher over to Moses. That's good. Kingsley Moses. He goes back to 7 points. Moses' first 3 of the game. Rich again. And that is goal interference as Rich had the ball off the backboard before Moses blocked it. Yannick Morea gets into the paint. And is fouled. His team foul number 3. Hatcher floats in. Moses with the rebound. Hajieva now trying to guard Moses. And Gaziantep not able to get the ball back. Now finally they do. The ball knocked out of Moses' hands. And those big balls for Drew Crawford. The miss, however, and Gaziantep continue to trail by 5. Hatcher. Moses to the basket, spinning his way in there and causing problems for Hajieva. 2 fouls on Hajieva. The break for Gaziantep as Moses now misses the free throw. One thing they haven't done particularly well today, shoot free throws. Makes the second. They're now 2 of 5 at the free throw line. Peristeri. And back in front now by 6 points. With just under 4.5 minutes to play, we've got timeout.
Hey! Hey! First
Tools for Gaziantep, 3 from Peristeri.
We play 2 flush. Okay, watch Stevan roll. Okay, if not this, Stevan clean quick. Watch if he can play big to big. Okay. Now, second offense. Let's play for Cinco. This force motion. Okay. 5.
Turnovers for Peristeri, so that's really prevented them from really having an even bigger lead today.
Drew comes like this. Okay. Sharas is with the ball. Attack, play, and roll. Češće se pogledati.
Vasilevskis brings it up as play resumes. And again, guarded by William Hatcher. Yellowbats back in the game, going at Kingsley. Moses goes up and scores with the left hand. First basket of the game. First points for Yellowbats, now Kingsley. Moses! How many times have we seen Gaziantep score only for Peristeri to go back and score, and usually with a three-pointer? Well, 7 threes in the game for Peristeri. Into the corner it goes. Yellowbats steps back. Markovich doesn't mind. That was the plan. At least the scheme. Here's Morea going to work. And Crawford was bumped. Oh boy. Surprised the foul wasn't called. Looked like there was some contact. And Crawford saying he got pushed. Watch this. Crawford goes up. Maybe he got hit by his own man, Ivan Bua. And that's why the foul wasn't called. Stephen Gray back in the contest. 32. They've got a lot of weapons on the perimeter. Does Peristeri. Moses over to Gray. Now Hatcher. This three right there can really drill it. Now Gray drives in and is fouled. Crawford. It's on Vasilevskis, but that's an exasperated look by Drew Crawford. So Stephen Gray takes his time, bends his knees, and puts it up and scores. As Peristeri keep that scoreboard ticking over. Gonzaga man, Stephen Gray. He played college basketball in the state of Washington, which is where he's from. Now a foul called. Well, if this Gaziantep team had not had such a flat start, obviously, I mean, this would be an even closer game. But they seem to struggle at the beginning of games, Gaziantep. Yelovats has certainly been a different player since he re-entered the contest. You might remember he left kind of in a huff in the first quarter, but since then he's come out, a nice little jumper close to the basket, and now he's hit a couple of free throws. But this has been the problem all night long for Gaziantep, is how to stop Peristeri. They have come up with some turnovers, but overall, now here's an offensive foul. There's another turnover on Yannick Morea. Trying to set the pick. Boy, they really struggle with that, don't they? Setting that screen. They're saying he got in a little too late. Harold John Chinko back in the game. Now Crawford. Ivan Bua. He could have had the three, but decided to go to the basket. Draws the foul. And almost had a three-point play opportunity. A frustrating sequence here for Yannick Morea. Picks up two quick fouls. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, if you're going to reach, even if you don't foul, you're giving that referee, if he sees that, he might be asking himself, did he make contact with that reach? So Ivan Bua takes his time and makes both free throws. A very quiet game for Ivan Bua, yet he's got 11 points. Has been able to get to the free throw line, which has been good. 3 of 3 there. And now a couple of free throws coming for Gaziantep. Now called on Vasilevskis. You see Coach Markovich talking about the rotation, trying to switch, to rotate on defense. Marcin back in, as well as Christos Solustros. William Hatcher, just a natural-born scorer, isn't he? Years of age. It's both free throws. He's been around. Dragons Rondorf, Lasab Sibiu, Udecin, Karavnos, Hapoel Gilboa Galil, Israel, Pauk, with Lahav, Charleroi in Belgium, Pauk, Partizan, Dinamo Zagreb, Pauk again, and Peristeri. So he's traveled Europe. Yellowbacks, another baseline jumper. Showing some confidence tonight. Serbia International getting it back to a 5-point game. Jason Rich back in the game, and nobody jumps over to stop Morrison. Well, the defense has been marginally better from Gaziantep in this quarter, but not really. I mean, they got to do more. I mean, right now they're outscoring Peristeri 17-15. Well, I say it's marginally better. They give up 30 points in the first quarter, but it's definitely better.
This guy shooting, you need to jump. This becomes like a joke, you know. Hey, none of my players. Listen. We need to be. This is the short catch. I didn't ask for done.
18 points in the paint for Gaziantep.
And you go back. And Buva, you are in the middle. But you need to give reaction. Help and go back. Let's play one. Four down.
I think as you look at the second chance points, I mean, just judging from the looks on the faces, is I get the feeling that Gaziantep's players are not fully either on the same page with what Markovic wants defensively, or maybe they don't like that defense that he wants to play. So Jason Rich brings it up here at the end of the second quarter. Minute and a half remaining. Rich pulls up and nails the jump shot. Oh, two Gaziantep players go down. Morrison wide open, and William Hatcher didn't see him. Now into the corner. Three-pointer from Solustros. Off target. I didn't know any better. I would think that maybe Gaziantep have just decided, the players, they're just going to come out and do their best defensively, even if they're not following the defense to the T of what Markovic wants. And I might be wrong in saying that, but again, just looking at the looks on their faces, look to be a little bit of confusion. Anyway, Crawford called for the foul. So Marcin will go to the free throw line. Mike Marcin, 30 years of age. He has had issues at the free throw line in his career. And this season has been pretty good here in the Basketball Champions League in his 3 games. 75%, 9 of 12 overall. He actually played in the first game and was amazing. Had 7 points, played 23 minutes. It wasn't amazing. Morrison sinks the first. But only makes one of two. And Yelovats hands it off to Rich. Yelovats seems to, again, be in his best form right now. He's confident. Look at that. He's taking the shot. Oh, rims out. Good try. And then Ivan Bua can't rebound the miss. He got his hand on it. 24.8 seconds to go here, so you think Peristeri going to hold it for one shot. Meanwhile, checking into the game for Gaziantep is Batuhan Dickman, number 5. So Jason Rich goes out, so he doesn't pick up a third foul. John Chinko on Hatcher. Hatcher goes in. Boy, he just made that look easy, didn't he? Now they've got hurry. Crawford puts it up from beyond half court, and he got the backboard. But that's how it finishes. Hatcher has been terrific coming off the bench tonight. No surprise there. He's got 8 points, 10 for Vasilopoulos in that first quarter. And Peristeri winmasters lead at 48-40 over Gaziantep at halftime. Peristeri 10 of 15 from three-point range. Excuse me, 7 of 10 from three-point range, 10 of 15 inside the arc. Just 3 of 11 from deep for Gaziantep, although they are 13 of 22 inside the arc. Peristeri out rebounding Gaziantep, 3 more assists. Gaziantep with that 1 more steal. In terms of the scoring leaders, Rich has a game high 12 points. Bua is second with 11, and Hajieva has those 3 three-pointers. Vasilopoulos, Hatcher, and Moses, Kingsley Moses, leading the way for Peristeri. Hajieva has made all 3 three-pointers for Gaziantep. I would suggest that maybe that three-point shot is going to change things around in the second half, but they have got to come out and play a lot better defensively if they're going to have a chance in this game, Gaziantep. So Peristeri at 4-3, leading it by 8 points at halftime over a 2-5 Gaziantep team. We'll be right back.
Oh, nice pass to the inside and the tough finish, and Skoldilis just hammers it down. And Peristeri pretty much getting whatever they want at the moment.
Scrub has it. That's Grant. Grant with a step and finish. Big time finish from Gerard Grant. Little hesitation, got Mustafa Fall in the air. Look how quick he gets past him.
Hornsby with Weema guarding him, screen by Amanu. Amanu gets it back, steps through, and he's blocked at the rim by Sealer. You've just seen him on the top 10 plays with a big block.
Innovatus now. Oh, wonderful pass and a wonderful finish. What a big, big play by Masulis. But it was the pass from the Innovatus that made it so special.
Oh, great finish. Hayden Dalton, mask and all, throws it down, and he's going to get in a highlight. Shimandini, watch out! Oh! Just to underline the point, as athletic as Shimandini's looked for a while.
Bedford. Hooping and hooping. I tell you what, when he gets in the flow, he's tough to stop.
Dennis hits the roll in. He stands and he gets up high. Oh, out of nothing. As Martin goes the other way, lobs it up. Stone it is with the dunk. Back-to-back dunks.
Right, still right, no good, ball's loose, they get it back, still, Angola to win it! That's extraordinary! That is incredible! Ostend, they are 2 ahead.
48-40, Peristeri winmasters on top of Gaziantep here at halftime of this game day 8 clash in Greece. Remember, Gaziantep got up on double digits by 16 points, in fact, in the opening game between these two teams back on game day 1, but weren't able to hold on and lost by 6 points. So Peristeri winmasters coming into this game at 4-3, Gaziantep 2-5, and needing some inspiration and getting it offensively from the likes of Hajieva and Jason Rich and Ivan Bua, but defensively giving up far too many open shots. So defensively, I think is probably where Nenad Markovic tried to get his guys on the same page at halftime. So we'll see if they made any progress. For Peristeri winmasters, you know, they're right in the thick of the hunt, as we said at the start of the game. They get a win today, and they are in the top 4 and looking in a good position as they get into this second half of the regular season. But some kind of bewildered looks over there on the bench of Gaziantep. Some I don't know if it's a confidence issue, whatever, but certainly from the defensive end, it just does not seem like they're all on the same page. Second half action underway here in Athens. Peristeri beginning with possession. And Scoochie Smith losing it for a minute there, but getting it back. Now kind of spins, drifts in, puts it up, and misses. So promising start here for Gaziantep, with Bua handing it off to Jason Rich. Rich again. Bua's open. Bounce pass to Drew Crawford. Boy, that would have been a terrific make if he'd made it his back to the basket. Vasilopoulos did an excellent job, though, not giving away a layup. Gray drives in, puts up a tough shot off the glass and in. Takes the lead to 10. 7 points. Stephen Gray. Rich has his pass batted away over to Scoochie Smith. Crawford goes for the steal and ends up giving away the two-handed jam to Agravanis. Well, in each half we've seen Rich kind of turn it over cheaply. Now it is again his third turnover, and again Agravanis goes in for the two-handed jam, and Markovic calls timeout. Confusion in the ranks. Rich trying to get some clarity with the referee on something. I guess he was complaining that Morrison fouled him, but I think that's probably probably a good decision not to call that one.
I can keep playing, guys. Side it. Come on. Don't stop, man.
Hey, how many times we need to do something in the practice that we understand? They play ice here, we have 2 players here. God, he plays. So we have space to attack. We have 3 guys next to each other. We have no place to play.
Turnovers mounting.
Shut up, go for cheap.
Still with more points off the turnovers, but just saw 2 baskets. Peristeri off the mistakes.
These guys cut, these guys pass inside. Haji, come high. Hadi beyler, hadi bir şey yok.
So can we see a turnaround here for Gaziantep, facing their biggest lead, biggest deficit of the game? Ivan Bua trying to go to work on Morrison. I guess the foul called on Morrison. Foul. Silaskas. Crawford battling for position down low. Agradovano's not giving anything away. Defense much better from Peristeri here in the third quarter. It looks like they're going for the jugular, and they almost get another steal. Jason Rich has to launch it, and Gaziantep flies in, but the rebound by Peristeri, who just a step faster. Look at that. Now they go up for the two-handed jam from Morrison. And really worrying times for Gaziantep. It has been an absolute nightmare start to the second half. Bua sets his feet off the back of the iron, where they're down by 8 at halftime, and that has doubled the deficit. Scoochie Smith, his pass goes off of Morrison. Vasilevskas hustles down, back to Bua, and 2 shots are coming for Ivan Bua. I have to say, Bua has done well to get to the free throw line in this situation. Had been doing well at the free throw line, but he misses. Just continues this disappointing start. Bua now 3 of 4. He'd made his first 3 at the line. Across midcourt. A couple of seconds to spare. Now push off on Roktas. Roktas saying he pushed me first. Tonight from Gaziantep. Just to be disappointing, really, knowing how they had that 3-game run where they won 2 out of 3 and almost beat the Peristeri Tenerife. Now they're getting the wood laid to them with Scoochie Smith drilling a 3-pointer. Time Vasilopoulos gets in there, takes the ball away, but it's called for the foul. The foul called on Morrison. It looked like Vasilopoulos actually had come up clean with it. 18-point deficit. Gaziantep with just 1 point here in this quarter, and I'll tell you what, a stroke of good fortune there as they get the offensive rebound. And Bua reaches over, shows some good sportsmanship, and helps Morrison up off the deck. Goktas getting into it with Vasilopoulos. I think Vasilopoulos is able to very clever confrontations. Back in the game. Richie Smith on the baseline gets it to Morea. And a reach and a foul, Nagravanas. Well, that's number 5. And I tell you what, if there's anything you would not want to do if you're Peristeri, I mean, this would be right at the top. Give away a cheap foul, stop the clock, put Gaziantep on the line. Let them have a chance. Let them have a chance to find some rhythm. Struggling for points. I think Agravanis knows that. You can tell by his reaction. When it rains, it pours, and right now it is pouring with Errol Janchenko missing the first free throw. Nothing going right for Gaziantep. Makes the second. It's up 7 of 9 from the stripe. With those misses coming this quarter. Spucci inside to Morea. Now the reach and the foul called on Yelovats. Calls the play, the wing, now makes the bounce pass, back to Vasilopoulos, now Hatcher, that's off to the left a little bit, a chance for Jason Rich. So the de facto point guard right now, into the corner, and Goktas hits the 3, how about that? A little bit of inspiration coming from the bench. Back to a 12-point deficit. So from 3-point range tonight, it's been Hajieva and Goktas. Timeout Peristeri. Let's go down to the bench and hear what the coach has to say.
Back in immediately, Yannick. After this, Yannick, if they hurt us, you're going to be sad, and Mo will be on the 5 with yellow back. Because now they have four shooters and 1 pop-out play, if we can find it. On defense, stay 1 step behind. 1 step behind. Ready to control. You can show. Show and go back. Guards it quick. Rotation must be there. But first, hey, last 10, we can switch. But make sure that you dribble switch with guards. Very steady.
Well, you just never know, do you, folks? I mean, you get up on a team by 18 points, and you suddenly make a bad decision or two. You turn it over. Somebody else enters the game for the other team, hits a couple of shots, and the next thing you know, that self-belief has returned to the opposition. So you got to really be able to play 40 minutes. You got to play smart, and you got to not lose that concentration. Good timeout, I think, by Peristeri, and we'll see if they've righted the ship. Good defense by Göktaş, who hit the three-pointer, now comes out and almost forces a turnover. Full marks to Göktaş too, because he has a tough assignment guarding Vasilopoulos. Yannick Moreira goes to work on Yelovats and can't get it to fall. Göktaş with the rebound. Now Rich. Passes to Yelovats. Yelovats going to try to go at Moreira. And gets the bump, and he will go to the line. Yelovats, a good free throw shooter. Another opportunity here for Gaziantep. I mean, the highs and lows of Gaziantep are incredible. I mean, they play with such extremes. You can just see how their confidence all of a sudden just rises. They feel like they're going to score every trip down the floor. But when it's going bad, it goes as bad as it does for any team. Interesting how Yelovats is just not dead center in the middle at the charity stripe. Kingsley Moses checks back in. So that could be a tough assignment. Whoever has him, he came out and played well in that first half. Had 7 points. Kingsley Moses hit both of his shots from three-point range. And he also had 6 rebounds. So that's a tough assignment for Steven Yelovats. Hatcher, and pass goes out of bounds, but it was touched by Gaziantep. Now Salustros checking into the contest. Vasilopoulos fouled late in the shot clock by Göktaş. There'll be 14 seconds on the shot clock. I'm not sure if they called the foul because he kind of reached in there right at the end, or just because of the contact. There he reaches in and forces a turnover. How about that? So Göktaş lost one little battle, but won the other. Vasilopoulos back in the, or excuse me, Xanthopoulos guarding Vasilakis. Yelovats looks down low, hands it off to Rich. Now over to Yelovats, into the corner it goes, and three-pointer is good from Janchenko. And don't look now, folks, but we've got a game on our hands, a 7-point deficit. Three-pointer is starting to fall from that spot on the floor. They need another stop, though. Gaziantep. Oh, beautiful pass. Oh, look at the sharing of the ball, but then Salustros kind of lost his footing. The ball ends up with Moses. Oh, they had their chance. They just did not get the ball. Foul called on Jason Rich. Moses at the free throw line where he made 1 of 2 in the first half. Salustros limps out of the game. He's gotten injured there. That's not a good sign. I don't know if it's an ankle. He's testing it out. Agravanis, Vasilopoulos, Hatcher. PJ Blake now back in the game. And Kingsley Moses, well, in his limited minutes, has done very well tonight. He's got 8 points. be there's going to have to be an adjustment made defensively for Gaziantep. And now Gaziantep get a break as they miss the free throw and rebound the miss, and then they are fouled. So again, 2 more free throws for Gaziantep. This one called on Vasilopoulos. Goktas has been a real difference maker in this 3rd quarter. He's been huge coming off the bench. He had that 3-pointer. Now he's got 4 points. He's been doing a good job defensively. And he gets his team even closer. Oh, yeah, you can see he rolled his right ankle. That's why that looks so awkward. Solustros. 6-point deficit. They haven't been this close in a long time. And now a foul on Janchenko. So free throws for Xanthopoulos. Played so well for Ike, didn't he? At the Final Four a couple years ago, his former club. He makes his first, so he is a Basketball Champions League champion. He only averages 2.9 points per game, 2.1 rebounds, and 3.9 assists. But he came in shooting 75%, and he makes both from the free throw line. And now the ball turned over. Hatcher. Agravanis. Nobody boxes out Kingsley Moses. BJ Blake got the steal off the Janchenko pass. I'll tell you what, it's plays like that from Janchenko that you simply cannot make. But they are lucky to get away without giving away any points off that turnover. And Yelovats was fouled, so it puts him back on the line. And that's where he likes to be, and a chance to cut it back to 6 points. Considering how this game was going for the first 5 minutes, first 4.5 minutes of that 3rd quarter, I think Gaziantep will be very happy to be down by 6 points. William Hatcher for 3, and that is almost unforgivable. You cannot let William Hatcher stay open if you're Gaziantep. He goes back to 9. They get it right back from Yelovats. I was just thinking, don't try to respond in kind, but Yelovats is having one of those games tonight. He really does have that look like he's going to get the job done. Hatcher steps back again, and this time they live to tell the tale. Goktas breathes a sigh of relief because Hatcher is definitely a scorer. Now Rich. Almost a turnover. Vasilopoulos launches a 3, and he's fouled by, it is indeed on BJ Blake, who shakes his head. I'm not sure what, I guess he's just shaking his head at himself. He's claiming he didn't foul, or maybe that Vasilopoulos took a dive, but whatever the case, Vasilopoulos, a huge play here. anytime you run at the shooter, you're going to be in danger of committing the foul. And in the estimation of the referee, he ran into him. And Gaziantep, boy, it is a Jekyll and Hyde team if you've ever seen one. They, right now, have closed the gap remarkably to 3 points, having been down earlier in this quarter by 18 points. Unbelievable. Outscored Peristeri winmasters now 21-17 in this third quarter. Still a lot of work to do. 11 minutes remaining. Gray back in the game. Hands it off to Agravanis. Gray again. Back to Hatcher. Drives in and scores. Boy, that was smooth. That was a basketball lesson. That was a, okay, you ready to play? Let's go. Move from Peristeri. They have awakened. Or if you like, awoken. Here we go. And now the reach and the foul on Xanthopoulos. Maybe they're going to call it on Gray. And they've got the man that they want at the line, Yelovats. 6 of 6 at the free throw line tonight. Vasilevskas, I think, has some blood, so he comes out of the game. And Yelovats makes the first. In playing at a level that helps you understand why he has been able to make it into that Serbian national team. Perhaps a tad fortunate to get the foul call there. It looked like maybe the ball just slipped out of his hands. Makes both free throws. 15 points for Yelovats. Perfect 8 of 8 at the charity stripe. Gaziantep as a team, 18 of 20. And now Yelovats commits a foul that did not need to be committed. So he put Stephen Gray on the free throw line. Gray made 2 attempts earlier. So this comeback by Gaziantep is interesting. You know, you could argue with Crawford and Ivan Bua being arguably their 2 most important players this season. I know Jason Rich has the pedigree, but maybe hasn't been at his best. But the comeback, has happened with Bua out of the game and Crawford out of the game, and now Crawford back out. Gray trying to show the way. Makes the first free throw. Shoots at 86.4% coming into this game. Lead is 5. Want to hold it for 1. Vasilevskas has it. Who do you go to here? You want to get it back to Yelovats if possible. He's been the man. 1.6 seconds remain. Well, now the Italian referee says, I think he's saying it's possession for Peristeri. Well, the only saving grace is they have to go the length of the floor at 1.6 seconds. Xanthopoulos launches it. Oh, he hits the rim. Oh, goodness me. That would have been diabolical for Gaziantep. I don't understand why they gave the ball to Peristeri there. But anyway, with 10 minutes remaining, it's game on, folks. Gaziantep have trailed by as many as 18 points, but they battled back. And with 10 minutes remaining, it's 69-64. Peristeri on top. Well, the three-pointers started to fall for Gaziantep, 6 of 16, but crucially for them, they are 18 of 20 at the free throw line. Yelovats has been superb tonight.
Lions και Perry, η γενική χορηγία της εταιρείας Πετρογκάζ. Ενώ ο Perry που πιάστηκε και η μέση του είναι χορηγημένος από τις πηγές του στη Λάτα.
Boy, Basket Manresa really putting a hurting on Torun tonight in Poland, winning that game 116-97. That is incredible. Basket Manresa have, well, they have just been walloping their opponents to Torun tonight. William McGarity with 20 points, 4 of 6 from three-point range. Danny Perez as well, 3 of 4 from 3. He's got 11 points. Wampi Valet, 14 points. Dulkis, the Lithuanian national, 6 of 9 from three-point range. And also Ryan Toulson, 3 of 3. They're 18 of 28 from three-point range. Incredible. But anyway, back to this game. Peristeri leading by 5. Foul BJ Blake. Another game that I guess has relevance to this group. You see the foul from Blake. Warner Barr showing last week's win was no fluke, winning right now 54-45 at halftime. At home over VF Riga. So that was the team we Gaziantep last week. Wouldn't that be something to see Mornar Bar somehow sneak into the playoffs after their woeful start? Kingsley Moses goes up for the two-handed jam. Well, Gaziantep did such a great job of getting back into the game, but they don't want to turn the basketball over. There could lead to an early exit. Vasilauskas misses, but fortunately the long rebound goes out to Rich. Vasilauskas was guilty of having the ball stolen, and now the block shot on the Goktas attempt. And they're playing at a faster pace now. Agravanis, though, charges. I know that a block has been, excuse me, Agravanis, yeah, indeed, with the charge. I thought that was the call. Great defense by Agravanis, but then watch him, he gets the ball back. Charged into Goktas. So Goktas, you got to tip your hat to him. He may have had his shot blocked, but he went back to the defensive end and made a play. And he got the ball back for his team. Peristeri, though, looked like they are awake. A little bit more aggressive. Rich has it. Guarded by Gray. Shot clock winding down. Rich pulls up, and that's going to be off the front of the rim. Good D by Moses. Suddenly the defense, the energy being brought from Peristeri, swinging the momentum back to them. And the foul called. Are they going to count it? Watch this again. Lucky that they did not count that basket, because it looks to me like they might have. The foul registered on that graphic for Gaziantep. Hatcher drives in, and he is fouled late in the shot clock. Suddenly, we see the sense of urgency from Peristeri. They want to put this game away. Gaziantep have to wake up, and I think this is an important moment here for Coach Nene Markovic. He's got to figure out which 5 players are going to play with the requisite energy, focus. But right now, this Peristeri team is moving in for the kill, leading by 8 points. Hatcher makes the first, makes the second. He's just so solid. I mean, he's not going to make every shot, but boy, he is not short of confidence. Yelovats bounce pass to Rich. Good pass from Rich. Good alert play by Yelovats, but not able to make the jump shot. Goktas, he was in position. The pass was made to him, but the Peristeri defense was alert and ready. And now it's Hatcher. Gets a little space for himself, launches a three. Yelovats rebounds it with Kingsley Moses putting pressure on him. Somebody's got to make a play for Gaziantep. Is it going to be Rich? Yes, it is. Jason Rich. And that makes it 73-67. Back to a 6-point game. This is when your big players have got to step up. Game becomes very difficult. Moses into the corner. BJ Blake. Good! Three-pointer. Gets it right back. Crawford takes the bump, loses it into the hands of Hatcher. Crawford hasn't been at his best today. Now flying in and laying it up and in Kingsley Moses. Nana Markovic decides to call a timeout. And with the lead going back to 11 points. And again, he has got to decide. I'm not sure, as you look at the replay of the Moses basket, something's not right about Drew Crawford tonight. Easily one of their best players, but tonight 0 for 4, 25 minutes, just 3 rebounds. Maybe it's an energy issue. Maybe he has an injury. I don't know. Van Boer wasn't working in the first half, but certainly Yelovats has played well. Goktas, Jason Rich has played well.
Hey, we need to keep playing. Yeah, you need to understand. Agravanis play fake, defend, shooter, not Agravanis. Let Agravanis shoot the ball. Hey, every time we move the ball, we find easy shot. Play normal, move the ball. Hey, let's play first offense. One down. Try to create the screen. One down. Hey.
Live action 78-67. Peristeri on top. And Rich. Oh, tough play. Boy, Jason Rich playing well in this fourth quarter now. I mean, he really looks like the only player able to elevate his game against this increased intensity from Peristeri, not wanting to write off Yelovats as well, but Rich definitely has got to step up for his team right now in these difficult moments. Hatcher looking for another killer blow. He drives in, forces it. Kingsley Moses with the rebound, passes it back outside to Gray. Good defense by Goktas. But Yelovats went for the ball instead of boxing out, and I think that's where he messed up. Okay, so it's a shot clock issue. They've put 12 seconds on the shot clock. Kingsley Moses in the in the paint, and he scores and will go to the line for a three-point play. Wow, he's been really good tonight. Completes the three-point play to take it up to a 12-point lead. Still plenty of time. Played his college basketball at Arkansas from 2013 to 2017. 25 years of age, Kingsley Moses. And boy, that was a fearless drive by Vasilevskis. Thought he'd bitten off more than he could chew there going up against Moses. Moses played last couple seasons for Antwerp Giants, made it into the Final Four with them last year. They were the hosts. There he is getting the offensive rebound, now hands it off. Three-point attempt, nope, and the ball bounces over to Rich. Dump and over to Yelovats. Oh, he makes a great play, Yelovats, and he's fouled by Agravanis. Boy, you simply cannot say enough good things. I mean, that was a great pass by Jason Rich, or Vasilevskis. Excuse me, John Chinko made the assist. I mean, that was a great play by Yelovats. He called it high. He knew the contact was coming. He's been terrific tonight, folks. I mean, this has been his best performance of the season, easily. Stevan Yelovats. Almost as if he's come out after he left in a huff in that first quarter. He was so angry. He was able to really focus, and here he is helping his team in this very difficult game at Peristeri. The turnover back. Now the ball with Jason Rich. Rich puts it on the deck, goes up high. And Kingsley Moses, great job putting the hands up in the face of Rich. Hatcher, a little bit of a mazy run, takes it back outside. PJ Blake. And Yelovats misses. Now Kingsley Moses misses with the putback. And then Stephen Gray reaches and commits the foul with 3:48 remaining. Well, the clock starting to become an issue. Tell you what, Nigeria, Kingsley Moses is Nigerian. Might want to give Moses a look before they go to the Olympics. They might want to invite him to camp. I think he's done a lot of good things tonight. Fascinating watching him play. He goes over to the bench. Nigeria played at the FIBA Basketball World Cup this summer, qualified for the Olympics. Great job by the Tigers yet again. Now Ivan Bua back in the game, passes it back outside. Rich, and this time misses from deep. It really does seem like Peristeri prepared well to defend against Bua, who, like Crawford tonight, that you would say that's two of their best three players, and they have not been nearly as effective as they usually are. Hatcher. Vasilopoulos. Now Gray. Gaziantep need to stop. Peristeri over to Vasilopoulos. And then the handoff, and fouled is Yannick Moreira, who's come into the game with 4.4 seconds to go. I know Vasilopoulos hit that three-pointer earlier in the game, but I'm not sure I would be running at him in an attempt to put him off that shot, as his penetration was able to get get him the in position to make that pass right there to Maria. In fact, Vasilopoulos has hit 2 3-pointers tonight. Crawford comes back into the game. Maybe he's going to save the best for last. Goal international Maria, another of the players at the World Cup this summer, makes the first. Ivan Bua and Vasilopoulos decide to have a little chat. 3:12 remaining, 8-point lead for Peristeri. And Maria makes both free throws. Wow, those are big. Back to a 9-point lead. Gaziantep need points and they need stops. Vasilopoulos. Blake with the rebound and gives it over to Hatcher. Gaziantep just not able to put on really the type of pressure defensively in this type of situation that they need. Because right now you need to really try to force some turnovers if you can. Blake, or rather Maria, over to Gray, and Vasilopoulos rebounds it. Still time, but they've got to score. Janchenko misses. Peristeri just want to bring that chip home. They were definitely pushed as Gaziantep got it back to within 3 points late in the third quarter. But that sense of urgency was obvious for Peristeri in this fourth quarter, and that is what has helped him. The missed free throw leaves it at 83-74. Rich launches it, and the well has been dry on the last 3 possessions for Gaziantep. Time is the enemy, and their hopes of advancing to the playoffs taking a big hit tonight in Greece. BJ Blake misses badly, well short. Crawford with the rebound. Crawford behind the arc. Over to Bua. Back to Crawford. Feet set. Good! Back to a 6-point game. Well, they have not given up the ghost yet. It took a while for Crawford to get on the board tonight. But he finally has his first 3 points. And they are important ones as they breathe a little bit of life back into Gaziantep. And how difficult has the game been for Drew Crawford? Well, his lowest scoring game before this came against Bamberg. He was 2 of 7 from the floor and had 6 points. Brosa Bamberg. That was at home in game day 3. He hit double digits in the 4 games after that.
After this, we go down. The ball goes, Hatsken, and we play. Horns move, horns move. Let's go, Yellow. I want you to attack deep. Panagiotis pop out, clear. You dive. If we can find Yannick inside, we find. Hey, after this, defensively, on last pick, we switch. 1, 2, 3.
We heard the chant of Peristeri. I thought they were saying ready, steady, but they said Peristeri. And coming back out. Trying to get a stop here at the end of the game. A couple of stops. Trying to get more points as well. Wouldn't it be something if Gaziantep were able to force a turnover? Not likely with Will Hatcher. Down to 10. Thopoulos make the pass, puts it up from deep. Crawford rebounded and fouled by Vasilopoulos, who was going for the rebound. And Baldini says, go to the other end. You fouled him. Stop complaining. Stops the clock and puts Gaziantep on the free throw line. Again, they could not have hoped for much better on that situation. Absolutely foul. Absolutely. No question about it. Don't make the referee's job harder than it needs to be. And Crawford misses the free throw. Unbelievable. Makes one of two and cuts it back to a 5-point game. Boy, every point, every possession, priceless. Outside the final minute, and again, Peristeri. The problem is when they take this much time off the clock, they lose them a little bit under much more duress when they try to actually get into their offense. Scoochie Smith, meanwhile, shaking and baking, goes off one leg. He misses, but there for the catch and the follow. Yannick Moret at the right place at the right time. Boy, Moret hit those big free throws, and now he has called an air ball, it looked like, and put it up and in. Tough break for Gaziantep. It's 10 of 24 from deep. Peristeri. Gaziantep 8 of 24.
Give signal. Okay, shot or immediately one-on-one. Okay. Move up. Keep it sealed. So if you don't have shot or attack, okay.
So they have missed 7 free throws that could come into play here at the end. But again, you know, in these close games, or in these games where you're running out of time, if you're Gaziantep, you look back and you just think, where might we have made a play or two, or maybe not been lackadaisical and turned the ball over. You know, remember the very beginning of the game, Ivan Bua missing a wide open layup. I mean, not to have to go at him, but the reality is, you know, there are other plays they could have made that would have made a huge difference. As it is, they're down 7 points. And they've got the basketball. 35.4 seconds remaining. Rich gets it open and just grazes the outside of the net. Gray not able to rebound it, but 6 seconds have ticked off the clock since the timeout. Rich drives in and has the shot blocked. So it looks like defense from Peristeri has come up big here at the end, and now the foul has been called on Drew Crawford. So just not quite enough at the end here for Gaziantep. And again, you go back and the game was really in the balance after Gaziantep pulled to within 3 points. got it up to 5 by the end of the third quarter, and then Peristeri came out and upped their defense in that fourth quarter and really moved back into the ascendancy. And since that point, they have been tough to catch. So Vasilopoulos not wanting to give away the layup, but instead he'll give away the free throws. Ooh, it makes the first. This is the second. And Hatcher will now dribble out the clock as Peristeri win it 87-79 over Gaziantep to strengthen their place in the top 4 and to put Gaziantep's hopes of advancing into more danger, leaving Gaziantep with just 2 wins on the season. Well, Peristeri playing in the Basketball Champions League for the first time this season, coming out, having a great start. They got on top. Everything was going their way, but they didn't slam the door shut and flirted with a little bit of danger. In the end, they were able to come out strong in that fourth quarter and get the job done. They shot at 61% inside the arc. They finished with 10 threes on the night. They did a decent job at the free throw line. And, you know, I really like Kingsley Moses, what he brings to the team. And he seems to be getting better and better. And he finished actually with a team high 17 points. I mean, he was tough to figure out for Gaziantep. Yelovats, Rich, and Bua. Well, Yelovats was terrific, really the player of the game, without a doubt. For Gaziantep, it was a tough game for them tonight. I don't think clearly their bigs weren't really at their best. Crawford didn't look like he was well. Goktas came out, played some inspirational basketball, had the shot blocked there, but then went and made a play at the other end. Tough start for Gaziantep. They just were not turning on all cylinders really for the first 15 to 16 minutes. And when you you dig yourself a hole early on, then you're fighting back and you're trying to climb back to that top of that mountain, boy, it's a long way to go. Kingsley Moses really raising eyebrows, I think, with his performance tonight. Think about Kingsley Moses and his potential and what he was able to do. 5 of 7 from the floor. He finished with 12 rebounds, plus 27 efficiency. I dare say he is officially a very strong candidate for the team of the week. I mean, it's hard to argue against that, really. Made both of his shots from three-point range. And that was his personal best all season long, 17 points. Also personal best from a rebounding standpoint. And he's been solid this season. Did not play against Gaziantep in week 1. Yes, I am, Tom. I'm just ready for the next one now.